What's up? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? So, welcome, people. Thanks for tuning in. We are live. I am recording live from my podcast with Lamell Star, Woman to Woman. Happy Tuesday. Today's topic is, why do we as women often choose to settle for less when it comes to relationships? So, we were speaking to women all around the globe. We are asking all the ladies, why do we choose to put up with things that we necessarily do not have to put up with? It's like, why do we choose to get ourselves caught up in a situation where it's unevenly yoked or unevenly balanced when we find ourselves in a situation with someone who chooses not to give us that same energy or give us that same moral support. So it's like, we are talking to several women around the globe. We want to know, what is it that we as women, what are we doing? What are we doing wrong? When it comes to trying to find Mr. Right, like, how do we go about getting back out there when it comes to seeking a new relationship, when it comes to getting back out there into the dating game? What are some ways or what are some steps that we can take when meeting somebody new for the first time, when it comes to getting back out there on the dating game? So what I want to know from you guys is like, um what can we do to make some changes? How can we go about taking a negative and changing it into a positive? How do we go about seeking, making sure that we have a clear understanding when it comes to setting clear boundaries? Um, when it comes to knowing one's true intentions, how do we go about it? How do we, without feeling as if we're being nosy or without feeling as if we are spying into another person's private business? Is it a good idea to ask questions when meeting somebody new for the first time? You know what I'm saying? Do you guys think it's a good idea to get out there and mix and mingle and meet somebody for the first time? Or, how would you go about that? You guys let me know, because that's the question that we're asking. We want to, when it comes to getting back out there in the dating game, a lot of times when you go out on a date for the first time, right? A lot of times when a man takes you out to dinner, a movie, a lot of times after dinner, some guys will assume that you are going to be willing to want to be intimate with them. Okay. So how do we as women set those boundaries to let it be known that we have no plans on crossing the line? So what's up, Carlos? How you guys doing? So we are live. We're on my podcast. Okay, if you guys can't see, we are recording live. We're on my podcast. We are live on Anchor. Woman to Woman is the name of my podcast. If you have Anchor, then feel free to log on to Anchor if you have it. Okay, because we are live and we are recording. And so if you feel free that you want to join us, then by all means, please do so. Let me hit the message button so that, we can go ahead on and let people know. But yeah, like I said, we're coming live from my podcast here, Woman to Woman. I am your host, Lamell Star. We're asking everybody that number one question. What seems to be the problem when it comes to why do we as women seem to choose, or why do we as women allow ourselves to settle for less when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to dating, or when you find yourself in a situation with somebody that you feel is unevenly yoked? What is the problem? What are we lacking when it comes to communication? I mean, is it a lack of communication, or is it a lack of misunderstanding, or do we find ourselves being misunderstood? Are we quickly judge without really getting to know? Like, what seems to be the problem? Like, so we're asking people, even men, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I have any guys that, like, if you're here, let me know. Like, man, you tell me what seems to be the problem when it comes to, getting to know. You know what I'm saying? What seems to be the problem? Because we're sitting here and we're having this topic. Why is it that we as women, why do we have a hard time when it comes to getting out there and meeting somebody for the first time? And well, even if you've been dating for a while, if you've been dating for a while and you're not happy in your relationship because there seems to be a misunderstanding, there seems to be the wires is being, something's not right. So ladies, what do you do when you feel like a situation is not right? When you find yourself, um when something is telling you, when your intuition goes off, when those red flags goes off, and you having problems in your relationship, or if you feel like you can't trust this other individual and there's red flags because of due to past trust issues, do we as women tend to look at the next person who we move on with and we start looking for signs from what we learned from the last person? Are we quick to pinpoint out those signs? Or we just assuming? Ah, forgive me, you guys. Hold on. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, but hopefully we'll get it straight. We're having some technical difficulties. Let me try to fix it. The devil is busy. But yeah, so I want to know. We're sitting here and we're going live, and I want to talk to you guys and try to find out what's the problem. Why do ladies have a hard time finding Mr. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, what seems to be the problem? Why can't we get with the right person? Is it just us? What do you guys think? Are we the women? Are we the problem? Are we the ones to be blamed for the situation? Like, what's really going on? Let me see what you guys are saying, because I'm here. Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, you said you learned from past situation. Past situationships to not ignore the signs. Okay. And then Carlos, you said finding Mr. or Miss Right is more understanding your own needs. Okay. Then somebody else said not being so vulnerable up front. And then Carlos said, I got all my questions written down first, please. Okay, Carlos. So what are the questions you would have asked? And then Reynolds said, A from Australia. Shout out to Australia. What's up, Dina? Hopefully you guys can hear me, because I have my headphones on attached to my computer. We are recording live on my podcast on Spotify called Woman to Woman by Lamell Star. And so today's topic on Happy Tuesday is, why do we as women often find ourselves choosing for less when it comes to relationships? That's today's topic. You understand what I'm saying? And so we need to find out exactly what is the problem. What is it that we're doing wrong when it comes to getting back out in the dating game? If you're single and you are trying to get yourselves back out into the dating game, but you afraid, you know what I'm saying? You scared because of what happened the last time you was in a situation with somebody and they mistreated you and they cheated on you and they took advantage of you and it was just a game and all they really wanted was sex, where there could have been a mutual attraction to this other person. But what happens when we as women, we tend to become celibate and we find ourselves, choosing not to be intimate, choosing not to get involved in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And then when we do, after being celibate for so long, it's like, what happens? I mean, how long should we as women be celibate? You understand what I'm saying? So that's the question I want to know. I want to know from you guys, how long should we as women maintain celibacy? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how do you break down to another person, another human being, and tell them, well, look, I've been spiritually celibate, you know what I'm saying, and really working on myself for some time. And I had to take some time to go through the healing process in order for me to recover and heal correctly. I mean, do you share that type of information when you get out there or date, or do you just like, you go out to dinner, and when you go out to dinner or movie, and you getting to know, what are the questions that we ask? You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to, so tell me about yourself, how do you start that conversation? How do you break the ice? You know what I'm saying? What are some ways of communicating and having a decent adult conversation without feeling as though you're being nosy or you're prying or you're spying or you're picking somebody for information? How do you start off a conversation between two adults, between two feasible adults? How long should you wait before crossing that line? You said, I've learned from past situationships to not ignore the signs up front. Okay. And then sometimes it could be a situation the universe is bringing us to grow ourselves. And then someone said, I refuse to put myself in something that's unsafe. Dina said, no, don't say that. Okay. Let me see. I'm reading y'all's comments. Okay, no, Carlos said finding Mr. or Miss Right is more understanding your own needs and wants first. So Carlos is saying it's a good idea to put yourself first. Randall says shout out from Australia. Unique says she needs to know everything up front. I'm asking at the start, what are you looking for? Exactly. I mean, is it a good idea to ask somebody, what are your true intentions? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your true intentions? What is it that you're looking for in a partner? Is this just a short-term situation? What are your short-term goals versus your long-term goals? You understand what I'm saying? Are you looking to build a relationship? You know what I'm saying? Are you seeking or wanting to build toward a true commitment, that's long term, long lasting? Or is just a quick getting to know and no strings attached, and we just going out, going with the flow, having fun, and if it don't feel right, then we just go our separate way? But then what happens when one person catches feelings but the other person don't? You know what I'm saying? So like, how do we handle that situation? Let me see. You said, okay, Unique said, as long as we have to wait, I'm willing to give it a chance, but I have to know where we stand. I agree. Exactly. Me too. I do have to know where I stand at, because I definitely do not want to see myself getting back out there and, allowing myself to be intimate with somebody, especially when you haven't, when you've been celibate for quite some time. You don't want to like give in to somebody and you open yourself up. You know what I'm saying? When you've been saving yourself spiritually, hoping to find Mr. or Mrs. Right. Because I feel like when two people become intimate, that's like a whole nother level. You feel me? That's on a whole nother level. So I don't want to see myself getting out there and like you get with somebody and it don't work. You understand? I mean, because my whole thing is like, I definitely don't want to be in a situation where, because I mean, I think us women, we have to draw the line and kind of like set the intentions and let this person know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna be real with you. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I have no plans as a woman, jumping into the bed right now. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see that happening right now. I don't see myself jumping in the bed, trying to lay down right now because I'm not ready to take it there. I'm just not ready for that right now. You know what I'm saying? I need to make sure I know what I'm getting myself into, and that's just that whole thing. And then the other question is like, how do you go about making plans for that date? You know what I'm saying? It's like, do you meet up at a public spot? Do you choose an early afternoon? Like, what's a good time to set a date? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the weekend. It's Friday night. You know what I'm saying? It's Friday night. It's the weekend. So, what would you say? What's a good time to set a date for a Friday or Saturday? Just to be on a safe side so that you don't have any fear, so that you don't feel afraid or feel scared. I mean, is it a good idea to just schedule a brunch date? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's meet up for coffee. Not at my place, not at your place. Let's just find a nice little, quaint, cute little cafe, coffee shop, bakery, deli, restaurant, and let's just go grab a bite to eat, get a cup of coffee, get to know, you know what I'm saying? Maybe some iced tea, sandwich, whatever. Because that always works for me, right? I like afternoon dates. When I'm dating, I like afternoon dates. I don't want nothing nighttime. I prefer let's go out early afternoon, like, especially if it's a first time date. If it's a first time date, then I'm gonna say like what, 2 p.m., right? To anywhere between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. in the afternoon, when it comes to a first, you know what I'm saying, first date, get to know. We could go to an early afternoon movie, grab a quick lunch, sit down and kind of feel the vibe. Because I was always told that you can tell a lot about a person within that first conversation, that you can pretty much feel that person's vibe and know whether or not this is going to work or whether or not there will be a second date. You understand what I'm saying? And what are like, what are some signs? What are the first things that we look for when we meet somebody new? Like, what's the first thing that catches your eye? Do you look at the person's they feet, they hands, they smile, you know what I'm saying? They ears, they eyes, they hair, they body feature, how they smell, how they dress, how they match their clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, how's this person coming when you meet them? You understand what I'm saying? Like, are they well groomed? Are they clean cut? I mean, because it's all types of things, because I know me, I'm a Virgo Pisces moon, so I can be a bit picky, but I have this thing for me. I look at a person's feet and their hands. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because to me, I feel like the feet and the hands says a lot about a person. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but I tend to look at a person's, the shoes. I look at the hands because I want to see if the fingernails are clean. I don't like dirty hands. I like to, I look at the skin. I want to make sure the skin is clean. I want to make sure everything is smelling good, is clean, that sort of thing. What do you guys look for when what do you look for when you meet somebody? I mean, other than finding out, making sure that they're really financially independent, stable, strong, got their own mind wise, spiritual wise, they could carry a conversation. You want to make sure that you do your background homework, because I'm going to always ask and find out up front, do you have a criminal past history? If so, do you mind answering a few questions? I'm not one to judge. I'm not going to view you because once upon a time you went to jail. You understand what I'm saying? I just want to know if you did go to jail or if you have been locked up, what were you charged with? You understand what I'm saying? As long as it ain't nothing crazy, outrageous, we may be able to work through it. You feel me? Because you need to find those things out. You need to ask questions. It's real important to ask questions. You want to always make sure, do this person have habits, addictions, you want to make sure, where do you work at? I'm not trying to be nosy, but like, you getting paid hourly, salary. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that they make enough where they can take care of their damn self without being codependent on you, basically. It's always that catch 22. And so I don't know. That's why I said, why is it that when it comes to we as women, um, we tend to find ourselves choosing for less? Is it because we've been single for so long that we begin to feel lonely and vulnerable, that we are willing to accept less, or we are willing to say a half a man or a half a woman is better than nothing? Because I can take half and I can put my half with that, and then we could take our halves and put it together and perhaps build something and grow. Is it better to have a half of something than a nothing at all? You understand what I'm saying? Would you be willing to be in a relationship with somebody if they didn't have a job or they wasn't making this what you're making? I mean, how does that work? Does the skills have to be perfectly weighed out evenly, or can it be what 40-50? You know what I'm saying? Like what, 80-20? You feel me? How do you weigh the skills out evenly when it comes to building together and crawling together and climbing together and investing and saving and budgeting? How do we grow together spiritually? Suppose one person is spiritually connected to the universe, where one person does everything organic and spiritually, and they're loyal to their spiritual being and their spiritual realm and their spiritual temple, and then you find somebody who's not like that, who don't understand your spirituality. Often that seems to be my biggest problem with me. I have a very huge problem when it comes to meeting somebody who has a problem with my spirituality. If you have a problem with my spirituality, then this is not going to work. If you don't like what I do, or you have a problem with me, with my whole, I won't say religion, I'll say my spiritual culture. Okay, that's what I'll say. I'll say my spiritual culture. Okay, because I am multiracial. All right. So for me, I can't be with somebody if they're not spiritual, because that's very important. We have to pray together and cleanse together and protect our temple. We have to be able to have that spiritual meditation, that spiritual devotion. We have to make time for that daily devotional need, okay, every day. That has to be there. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, we have to pray. We have to definitely pray, and we have to meditate, and we have to cleanse ourselves. And to me, that's very important. If I can't find somebody on that spiritual level, then I know it's not going to work. And I know sometimes they say when it comes to getting to know another person, that sometimes we have to make room for something different. And when it comes to making room, we have to agree to disagree when it comes to getting to know. You understand what I'm saying? And not be afraid to discover new things or take on new things, But what happens when a person likes to sit up and watch TV and they want the TV up real loud, but you are a type of person that comes home and you're ready to go to bed at 10 o'clock, and this person wants to sit up all night and watch TV and have the TV up real loud while you're laying down asleep? Or suppose this person is into horror flicks and you're into romance. So what happens when you find yourself like, this person might be in the action movies and you might be in the comedy? How do you work the two together? This person might like to play Nintendo games, what they call that, video games, and you're not into that. How do you work that into your day? How do you work that as a part of your spiritual journey? How do you accept somebody into your life and be able to become a part of another person's life? How do two people come together as one, willing to accept one another and each other with all your flaws? You understand? Because nobody is perfect. So it's like, what are you seeking when it comes to a mate? What are you seeking? What is it that you want? How do you go about when it comes to likes and dislikes and learning each other's likes and finding out what it is you have in common and what you don't have in common? And if you don't have something in common, how do you go about working with that? You know? And so that's what I want to know from you guys. So what are you guys saying? What's going on here? Let me see. You said look, that energy need to be right. Yes, coffee, lunch, or brunch, definitely. Hell yeah, public is the only way. I know that's right. You said, I know that's right. I said because you're not bringing it home. Okay, yeah, Dina and Trinity said, yeah, okay, we definitely have to meet at a public place in the early afternoon hours because I'm not willing to get out there and do no late night meetups. Look, at people are crazy. I ain't lying. People are crazy, child. People crazy. And so that's why I know when it comes to myself, I'm definitely somebody who takes my time. I'm not going to get out there and put myself out there and become vulnerable to nobody. I just can't do it. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why we're up here. You know what I'm saying? For those of you that's just jumping on, this is not a tarot reading. Okay, I'm on my podcast live, so you're here with me, and we're on my podcast called Woman to Woman by Lamell Star. Okay, so if you have Spotify app on your phone, download it. If you have Anchor by Spotify, then feel free to download Anchor by Spotify on your phone. Okay, and then you can join us. Okay, so we are talking about why do we as women why do we often find ourselves settling for less when it comes to relationships or when it comes to the dating game? Or if you're already in a relationship and you feel like the situation is unevenly yoked and it's one-sided and you've been having some doubts where you've been thinking about walking away, or you got yourself in a situation where maybe perhaps you caught feelings for a third party, right? Let's say that you've been in a situation where maybe you might be legally married but legally separated, but you got yourself in a situation with somebody else who's still married and they're actually living together in a household as husband and wife. Okay, but you've been having this secret marital affair with this person, knowing that they married and they already have a family, and you never had no attentions on one thing leading to another. You never had no attentions, or this becoming something more serious where it developed into something that was long term, where you could have found yourself in a situation where you caught feelings for somebody who didn't belong to you or you didn't belong to them, but now you're in this yoke. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do when you find yourself caught up in the middle of a situation, of an entanglement, where you have become caught up with another individual, but it's not going nowhere? You understand what I'm saying? But then it becomes a danger zone because you have to sneak around in order to see each other, you know. And so, what happens when you lay down and become intimate with somebody who, you're having this marital affair, and you two have to sneak to see each other, and you have to keep it a secret because you can't go public with it. You can't tell nobody because if you tell somebody or if you're seen together in public, then all hell might break loose. So then you have to ask yourself, is this situation really worth it? You know what I'm saying? Is what I got myself into, is this worth it? You know what I'm saying? Is it better for me to just free myself right now and walk away and close the door and say better than, cause I've been through this myself. You know what I'm saying? I've already been there, done that, did that. So I've already experienced that situation. And I know for me, when it was all done and said, I told myself better to have had love than no love at all. And better for me to have learned this lesson and, learned this experience where I was able to have this experience. And so this person taught me a little something, something. I taught them a little something, something. We taught each other a little something, something. You understand what I'm saying? And somehow we was able to take a negative and change it into a positive when, all hell broke loose. We had to end up going our own separate way. Because the same way we was both cheating when we came together, because I know I never even looked at it as a serious thing. You know what I'm saying? But just one of those things because I was going through a effed up marriage. This person was going through an effed up marriage. They weren't happy in their shit. I wasn't happy in my shit. And then we ended up coming together. Not knowing that it was going to roll over into something different. But it just blew up. It blew up. And we found ourselves having to come apart. We had to separate. I had to go to mine, and that person had to go to their, we had to break apart. And so the breakup, that could be a whole lot of tension because you don't develop feelings, right? And so now you have to heal from that journey and learn how to take time to be alone. How do you handle going through a healing process and spending that alone time by yourself in order for you to grow and change and take a negative and change it to a positive? What are some things that you do to help lift your vibration spiritually when it comes to your own financial well-being? Do you seek peace and salvation versus lust and flesh? That's when we have to really learn how to cut cords when it comes to going through this spiritual transformation, you know. But you guys let me know. You know what I'm saying? You guys let me know. She says, I'm a Virgo. I look at the teeth and all. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. You said, yeah, his nails. Hey, Shauna, yeah. Oh, so now I know I'm kind of hungry right now. Just saying. Carlos said, Lord have mercy. You said clear skin. Yeah, clear skin and nails. That's a good thing. And I don't like odor. Virgos, I don't think we like odor. You know what I'm saying? I'm very sensitive to odor. I suffer with allergies already. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, am I the only Virgo who, I don't know who's all here. I know for myself, I'm very sensitive to odor. I'm very sensitive to odor. Anything that stink, I'm gonna tell you the truth, child. I'm gonna start sneezing. I might start coughing. I might start sniffing. I can't stand odor. I can't stand odor. I have a nose like my grandmother. My grandmother was a Capricorn, God rest her soul. My grandmother could smell some shit a mile away, okay? And so I'm the same way. I pick up on bullshit real quick, okay? I pick up on bullshit real quick. I can smell a motherfucker and know what they about, okay? And so I don't like odor. I don't like odor. I really don't. Anything that smells is a no-no. So, I mean, I don't know, Virgos. I don't know, people. Anyway, you guys, thank you for tuning in. I am going to come back, okay? And so I will come back and do a live reading for my Virgos, okay? But right now, like I said, this is my podcast called Woman to Woman. And I am your host, Lamell Star. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead on and upload this here episode, and I'm gonna say thank you guys so much for tuning in on this podcast. You can probably go back and hit Spotify if you have Spotify radio on your phone, okay? And just give me a minute to upload this on to Spotify, and then you guys can go back and play it back. Okay? So let me get ahead on and stop it. And let's see. So I'm adding Spotify to it. And let's see. Let's see, can we go back? Yeah, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I'm basically just trying to see if it's gonna let me add music. Let's see. I'm gonna upload this. But anyway, you guys, let me let you guys go while I'm working on this here podcast. Okay.